The North Carolina Tar Heels defense needs to step up and take a bow. Speaking of celebration, they need to be celebrated for their week 1 performance. I hope the offense, I don't know, brought them cookies or something. The Battle of the Carolinas in Charlotte on Saturday night. The stars were Carolina's defense. Think about that. Think about all the preseason oxygen we spent on Drake Maye and Will Tez Walker play and Nate McCullum incoming transfer and all these things on the offensive side of the ball for Carolina. And then we'd talk about the defense. What would we say? How concerned we are. Can they get pressure? Can they create havoc? Can they make Spencer Rattler, for lack of a better term, and no pun intended, rattled? Could they do it? Is it? Well, guess what? They answered with a resounding, yes, we can. 31 rushes for -2 yards in total for South Carolina. Some of them sacks, but -2 is -2. The UNC defense sacked Spencer Rattler 9 times, totaled 16 tackles for a loss. I think they rattled him. Again, no pun intended. If I do it again, that's intended. I think they got him shook. That's the defense saying, if Tez Walker's not going to play, if the offense is going to be a little shaky, if our everything quarterback's going to be 2 for 2, 2-2 in touchdowns and interceptions, we'll take care of it. Here's Mack Brown, the head coach of North Carolina, on how great his defense played on Saturday.
It's the best we've played since we've been back, for sure. It's one of the best games we've played in a long time. Really proud of Coach Chizik and the defensive staff for taking a narrative that was true at the first of last year and really kept us embarrassed on defense throughout the year, but got better, but didn't get credit for it. They had a great plan. They were aggressive as advertised. They had tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 9 sacks. All of those things that we've been wanting, that we've talked about, that we're not getting accomplished. But one of the best performances that I've seen on defense, for sure.
I'd say so. Especially because it's week 1, especially because it's against that team, especially because of all the questions going in. On the other side, I think Drake Maye was good, but inconsistent, some of that due to the personnel around him. British Brooks in the Tar Heel run game, very good. 15 carries, 103 yards for Brooks. That's very, very good, right? Not only, I was going to say good enough, but like that they carried the offense at times.
6.9 yards a carry, hard to argue against that.
The offense was outside of that, and their running game, kind of to put that in its own capsule and say that was very good. The rest of the offense inconsistent. Here's Mack Brown about something he wishes the offense did better at.
Our defense finished. Our offense didn't finish. And I was really disappointed in our offense. 8 minutes left to go in the game. The game should have been over at that point if we had done what we needed to do offensively, and we didn't. We did kill some clock. We made a couple of first downs, but you got to finish the game. So as happy as I was with our defense and our special teams, I was really disappointed in the way our offense didn't finish.
Well, the defense took center stage, luckily, right? If your offense is going to have a bad game, you want it to be in a game where your defense plays the best since you've returned their Coach Brown. And this is where, like, if you have Drake Maye as your quarterback, even if he doesn't play well, even if the offense doesn't play well, you should get 20+, right? Like, on an off night, their floor should be 20+ points. The defense held South Carolina to 17. That's enough every time. That's enough every time. Will there be things that you want the offense to fix? Heck yes. You know what day wasn't fun for the North Carolina offense? Sunday, right? Because Saturday, after the game, you won, you beat Carolina, meaning South Carolina. You beat, you won in Charlotte. It was this big hype game. College game day was there. It was all crazy, right? So Saturday night was really fun. Going in and watching the film, not that fun for the offense. Not that fun for the offense, right? That's a real come back down to earth moment where you're sitting there and looking at your how did we win this game? I have so many minuses on my grade sheet here. And it's like, well, the defense carried you.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember how after the App State game last year, the offense had all positives, all pluses, and the defense was in a bad mood at film the next day?
Mm-hmm.
Role reversal, buddy. Now they're over there having, they're drinking the finest of Powerades or Gatorades, whatever you're sponsored by, and you're over here drinking lukewarm tap water because that's how it's going to feel.
Well, it's got to feel good for Carolina offensively, knowing the fact that there are so many areas in which they can improve. They still put up 31 points.
Very true.
And their defense played lights out. Now, you don't expect their defense to get 9 sacks every single game, but even if you're consistently generating pressure and getting tackles for loss and getting in the backfield more than you did last season, and the offense plays to the expectation that we all thought they were going to coming into this season, be a really, really good football team. Like, really, really good. I'm talking competing ACC championship level football team.
That defense was more than we even asked for.
Oh, above and beyond.
If they got as many quarterback hurries as they got sacks, I would have said that's a pretty good day for the defense. But they actually got him on the ground 9 times. Now, here's my one bone to pick with the coaching staff. Because obviously, like you said, Drake Maye didn't even play that great. The passing game had their flaws, and they still put up 31. And the defense obviously had a game plan that worked. Shout out to Gene Chizik. The one kind of bugaboo I have, the one bone to pick, Drake Maye kind of messed over by the coaching staff by how they divided up their reps in practice. Right? And I say that because Mac Brown after the game said, I thought Drake Maye played well based on the fact that he was throwing to completely different guys in practice because he was throwing to Tez Walker and Nate McCollum, and neither of those guys played. Now, Nate McCollum is hurt. Nothing you can do about that. It's football. It's going to happen. But the coaching staff should have had him prepared for Tez Walker not to be there. Whoever was going to replace Tez Walker, I mean, starting Monday, you had to take Tez out of the practice schedule. You had to. He was ineligible, and there was no sign the NCAA was moving at all. If he was unprepared or you didn't give him enough practice reps to be confident in his ability to make it work with whoever was behind Tez Walker on the depth chart, that's on the coaching staff. If it's Thursday, you're going through walkthroughs and stuff, and Tez Walker's still jogging out there when you call for the starting offense, and he's ineligible at that moment, that's a problem. So that's the only bone to pick I have with the coaching staff is I think they earlier in the prep process should have gone to Tez, I'm sorry, but we have to take you out of the practice for most of the reps because you're ineligible right now and we need the other guys to be ready. If it's an excuse after the game, like, oh, Drake would have played better if he had the guys he was throwing to in practice, if it impacted it that much, you should have planned better at the beginning of the week.
It's one thing if a guy gets hurt in a walkthrough on Friday.
Exactly.
Then it's like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. But like you said, he's been ineligible for weeks.
He should be eligible.
He should
but
be.
That's
a different conversation.
Like that's out of your control. The thing you can control is how prepared you are if he's not. That's what it is.